I am walking along the Erie Canal in upstate New York. I'm going to show you three towns along the canal here. The canal was finished in 1825, at the time a construction engineering masterpiece. And these three towns were founded specifically to manufacture goods to be transported down this canal. The canal went to Albany, and then you would take the Hudson River down to New York City and points beyond. They would manufacture things like clothing, iron products like bathtubs and sinks, sandstone for construction, furniture, you name it. What I'm walking along is what is called a towpath. And this is a path the horse would take as it pulled these barges down the canal. So I'm in the town of Medina. I'm going to show you it first. Here's the map. And here's the population history. Peak population 1990, 6686. Last census down to 6,047. Here's the latest estimate, 2023, 5799. One of the many bridges crossing the canal. One lane bridge, by the way. Nice view of the downtown Medina over there. I'm gonna get there. I'm still exploring this part of the canal. I'm a couple miles out of town. I came out here because I just wanted to get a feel of what it must have been like to traverse down this canal 200 years ago. Of course, the towpath would not have been paved, like I showed you earlier. It is pretty amazing. It's calm and peaceful. Smells really good. Smells like fresh picked flowers. And here it is. Downtown Medina, New York. All of this downtown is on the National Register. That probably doesn't surprise you. Let me show you some of the shaded side. Looks basically the same. Beautiful old downtown buildings. I was wondering what that loud noise was. That's a big tractor coming. This is what you see in farming towns a lot. He's loud, isn't he? Well, all right then. Let me give you some numbers. 89% of this town is white. 2% is Asian, 1% black, 1% Native American, 1% Hispanic, last 6% mixed race or other. Just going to give you some shots of everything. Oh, Fitzgibbon's Public House, or Fitzgibbon's, let me get the camera straight up there. Fitzgibbon's Pub. I just recently learned that pub is short for public house. I can't believe I didn't know that. Did all of you know that? I didn't know that. Okay, anyway. Median household income, $63,972 a year. It's $12.30 a week. It's pretty decent money for a little small town like this. It doesn't make as much money from commerce off the canal, obviously, like it used to, but it still does some tourism, and the town is diversified, I guess you would say. I saw a pretty good sized meat packing plant on the way in here. Poverty 10.1 overall. School age children 9%, 65 and older 12%. Those were all lower than the national poverty numbers. Cost of living is an 84. Healthcare is the highest at 101, and then housing is the lowest at 57. All right. Welcome to historic Medina, New York. And there's the canal. This runs along the back of downtown. There's a big old church right here. Wow, we better go take a look at that. Across the street from the church is the old Medina post office, built in the early 1930s. That is not New Deal architecture, however. That is colonial revival. A little bit different. All right, so the church, the First Baptist Church, is right here. Built in 1870. And that is clearly Gothic architecture. Let's get a little bit closer. But you can see it's quite beautiful. Wow, look at that. Should we see if I can go inside? It would be pretty cool to take a look inside, wouldn't it? I have a feeling, though. Yeah, a big negatory. All right, well, about a block or two out of downtown. A quick look-see. One of the streets in town. Looks quite nice, doesn't it? Well, that one's needs a little work, but most of them look really beautiful. I love these old wood houses. I checked crime. Last year, 27 incidents per 1,000 people. Compares to 23 for the U.S. So crime here is a little bit high. Well, I'm almost back into downtown. Here's median home value here, $101,500. Would you look at that? I need some TLC, but that is a spectacular house. All right, well, yeah, I think that's enough here. Let's head to the next town. An old Jeep there. I'm in the market for an old Jeep. I'm in Albion, New York. Checking out this cool old tugboat, it looks like. It's parked here on the canal. Let's see, let me show you a map. See where I am. And then here's the population history. Peak population, year 2000, 7438. 20 years later, it was down to 5637. Latest numbers, 5495. Well, this is a good idea, isn't it? It looks like the fire department over there. This here, is this what you would transport cargo with? Looks like it's just parked here on the canal. Well, let's go up to this bridge. I had planned on driving across this bridge into the glorious Albion downtown, but alas, I was thwarted. Now they're doing some sort of construction on it. Yeah, the downtown's pretty incredible. It's got buildings as old as the early 1800s. And as you can probably already see, they are beautiful. Again, pretty much all of this town is on the National Register, like the last town. It's pretty spectacular, isn't it? Median age here is 48. This town's a little bit older. 84% of the town is white, 7% Hispanic, 4% black, 1% Native American, last 4% mixed race or other. Yeah, this building here was built in 1882. Both of them were. Alright, well, let's see what else we can find here, huh? There's a little downtown side street. Now let me tell you some more as I walk down it. Median household income here is $45,474 a year. $874 a week. Poverty, 23.1 overall. School-age children, 21%. 65 and older, 15%. So those numbers are a little bit high. Cost of living here, though, it's an 86. Transportation's a 108. I guess it's more expensive to have a car here. Housing's a 50. This is the First Presbyterian Church, built in late 1800s, 1873, I think. That is Gothic architecture. It's quite beautiful. Across the street from it is their post office, built in 1930. Again, it's not New Deal. This is Colonial Revival. There's supposed to be a really amazing mural of the canal inside. So let's go take a look. This post office smells like old wood. It's a great smell. Alright, across the street from the post office, right over there, is the county courthouse. Let's take a look at that. The county courthouse, built in 1858 for $20,000 in the Greek Revival style. There it is right there. Greek Revival, so that means it takes its cues from ancient Greece. You can definitely see that, can't you? Including the big dome up there. Yeah, that's an amazing building. The town could just about call itself a city of churches, because there are so many of them here. What is this one? Universalist Church? Wow. How about that, huh? Gothic architecture. And then you got two more right over here. Let's get a closer look. This is St. Joseph's Church. This was built in 1896. This is Gothic architecture. The Lancel doorways are the dead giveaway. That's something, isn't it? And look, right next door, there's another church. This is First Baptist Church. This big tower. And there's a clock on that tower. Wow. Well, she's a beauty, isn't she? Here's another church, Christ Episcopal, erected in 1830 by the Presbyterians. It's the oldest church in the town. 1830, that means it was built 5 years after the canal was completed. Yeah, it was probably the tallest building in town at the time. Well, this looks like some sort of manufacturing facility. Appears to be sitting empty now. Not sure what. Maybe someone can fill in for us. I'm sure someone knows. It's right on the edge of the rail line here. And you can see what looks like is the ruins of an old rail depot there. Looks like that's been abandoned and neglected. Well, let's see, I'm going to check out A few houses here just outside of downtown. Yeah, they look pretty nice, huh? A little older, but in good shape. Checked crime here. 27 incidents per 1,000. US is 23, so again, a little bit high. Median home value, 81,300. Wow. I would think that's practically unheard of. In the state of New York, that's low. Well, it looks a lot like this. Just about everywhere. It's a real nice town. Beautiful architecture here. A lot of their buildings. Okay, so another beautiful house. Yeah, let's head to the last town. I am in Brockport, New York. Wow, huh? Another beautiful old New York small town downtown. I'm going to head towards the canal. It's right up there to the right. Let me give you a map real quick. And then here's population history, 1980, 97, 76. 40 years later in 2020, 7104. That's a pretty big drop. Latest census is 7153, so it grew just a little bit past 3 years. Yeah, a lot of these buildings built in the late 1800s. This is a magnificent downtown. Anyway, the canal is right up here. They're doing work on it. Seem to be doing a lot of that along here. Let me give you the ethnic breakdown. 79% white, 10% black, 5% Hispanic, 3% Asian, last 3% mixed or other. And look over here. We've got a little restaurant with some people out on the patio. Having a nice afternoon here in sunny New York on a Tuesday. Early afternoon. It's pretty warm here in New York at 92 degrees. For us in Texas, that's not bad, but in New York, that's pretty hot. Well, as I approach the canal, let me give you the median household income. $58,237 a year. It's $11.20 a week. Poverty, 17.6. School-aged children, 11%. 65 and older, 8%. They are working hard over here. Let's see if we can get a better look. As you can tell, this bridge raises so that boats can go through. Yeah, they're just doing some stuff to it. Making lots of noise. This is real nice here, huh? You got a little restaurant along the canal. I was wandering around the back of the downtown here. Love this Ivory soap advertisement. Can you see that? Ivory soap. It floats, lathers freely, rinses readily. That is so true. Now, just about walked past the Brockport post office and didn't show it to you. This one was built in 1940, and this one is New Deal architecture. There's a bookstore over here. It is an absolutely lovely downtown. You could do worse if you wanted to retire here. It's got a hospital, grocery store, beautiful downtown with coffee shops and other restaurants in the downtown area. Lots of regular shops here. The big question is, could you deal with those upstate New York winters? That would be the trick, wouldn't it? Well, let me give you the Cost of living here, it's a 90. Transportation, again, 108. Housing is a 65. Yeah, it is really nice here and relaxing. I'm really digging it. All right, well, out in residential, checking out some houses. Looking pretty spectacular, aren't they? Let's see, let me give you crime. Last year, 29 incidents per 1,000. Here's a 23 for the US, so crime's a bit high. Yeah, the neighborhoods and the houses are absolutely delightful. Okay, let me give you median home value here, 135,700. That's not too bad. All right, everyone, so that's the end of this one. Up next, we are heading west into Ohio. So Ohio, here we come, and we will see you there.